Pisces, hey, how are you? This is Lisa. I'm just coming in. We're going to have a general energy reading for July 2022 for the sign of Pisces. Hope you guys are doing good. Oops. Thank you for checking out my channel. I hope you enjoy it. You'll come back and see me again. And for those of you guys who've been here before, I really do appreciate the support. It means a lot. Alright, let's get started. Now remember, it's a general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everybody. If you take what does, leave what doesn't. And we'll see what's going on for Pisces for July 2022. Okay then. Alright, we got the 8 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. Oh, that's nice. Let's see. 5 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, the 2 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, and the Tower. Interesting. Well, let's see. The first thing I see is, well, it's a shitload of pentacles. But, alright. It looks like initially the first thing I see is, now this is representing your energy, and this is you doing hard work and doing it meticulously, and you're not skipping any steps. You're not like pushing aside this and saying, oh, I can get away with this, or I won't have to do it exactly. No, you're like working hard and you're making sure it's always right. You're not even trying to play. Because the theme of your month is this 9 of Pentacles energy. Now this is having confidence and knowing you're going to be able to take care of yourself, that you could take care of somebody else, and feeling like, you are pretty much set in a situation that you're very comfortable in. And you know that if you continue working hard, this is what your reward will be. And I think that's where that's kind of like where you're coming from right here. And now going into later in the month, you have like this key goal. And I think the goal is to not be, okay, sorry, it took me a second. The goal is to never feel like this. This is a feeling of lack. It's a feeling of you've lost something, that you're missing out somewhere, that you don't fit in. And for you, obviously, the traditional decks, it's like those people are walking by the church with, the windows are all lit up and they're not even acknowledging that they could actually go in and get warm there. But I think your feeling is, when I see this, your goal is you don't want to ever be here. And I think that's where your head is right now. You're thinking, I ain't going all that. So you're working really hard to avoid that kind of situation. I don't know if this is something that ever happened to you in the past, but I know right now you're trying not to have any of that. Now you do have this Ace of Swords energy, and this is coming out with having a new start and having a clear-headed thought of situations. But I feel like you have to overcome this. You don't need to start something new right now. I mean, even though it's in your head to do it, maybe, but it's not in your best interest right now. And I kind of get that too, because like right now you have what you need. You have the work that's giving you success, and to avoid this, so you don't need to be starting anything new right this second. Not that you can't do it a little bit later, but right now, it's not the best idea. Because then we have the Sun. Now this is probably the best card in the deck. So you're happy. You're feeling comfortable and, well, very, very good for anything. And I feel like you don't want anything to jeopardize that. You don't want anything to risk that. And that's the other reason why you wouldn't make a new start. Because maybe you had proposals. Maybe people were coming in and saying, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I feel like even though you were thinking about it, you might be like, yeah, no. because I have this right now. This is what I have. And this is an accomplishment that not a lot of people can get. So you're holding on to this because that makes sense to do that for now. Not saying it doesn't, not saying it won't later, but for now, that's the best idea. And then you have this Wheel of Fortune energy. And this is, you're on a cycle, and your cycles will always come around, come around, come around. And you want to be on them in a good spot. So I feel like you have to make sure that you are grounded and, you're stable in your mind and in what's going on in life so you can handle whatever comes through with that cycle. Because, they say if you get what you give. So if you're giving out all kinds of good energies and good vibes and everything, it'll come back to you like that. But if you're giving out like not so great ones, the not so great ones might come back to you. And I think you just have to make sure that you are vibing right, I guess, to be in a good spot when the cycle comes in. And we're on them all the time. Sometimes it's a week-long cycle, sometimes it's a year-long cycle. We don't know. But when they do come in, we'll just make sure you're in a good spot when that's happening. And now for this, you've got the Two of Pentacles. So you're juggling a lot of stuff, which not surprising. I mean, you're working, you might have home life, friends, family, things that you have to handle. So you're going to be doing some juggling. And I guess it's kind of a normal thing, but I feel like you actually enjoy it. Like if you didn't have it, you'd be bored. So I feel like this multitasking, juggling feeling is what keeps you going. And I feel like it's like, it makes you happy to be able to do that. That you're able to keep everything, all the balls in the air and be able to make sure that you're, being able to give your family and your friends and your work, everything, a certain amount of attention, I guess, so nobody's getting left behind in that way because you got this, Now, there is a feeling of responsibility and burdens coming into you. And that does make sense too. I mean, it's like, okay, you're juggling all that, you're working hard, you're making sure, you're going to be good. And yeah, you're going to have this feeling of responsibility and burden. And I don't know what your home life is, but if you have family and you have like a spouse and children, it's going to be heavy. Sometimes, sometimes the burdens are heavy. But this is what actually keeps you grounded. So if you were, like I said, if you were on that other wheel, and if you were on that wheel, this is where you'd find your support and your grounding. Even though it's burdensome, but I think it's the responsibilities that you have is where you go for the support, the people that you're responsible to, or the people that you need to make sure are okay. I feel like they are the ones that will give you the support that you need, even though sometimes it gets overwhelming, but I don't think that it's ever going to be overwhelming where you can't function past it. So, but I feel like you just, that's where your support is, to who you're responsible to. And the Tower. This is very pretty. It's a pretty picture for, kind of like one of those cards. But this is like a sudden change. This is where you don't see it coming, but it's headed your way. And it's not something that you're going to see, but every now and then you could possibly get an inkling of, you have the idea of it. So it's like an upheaval. So there might be something coming around that it's going to cause you to, kind of rock you a little bit. But take this as like, this is almost like a heads up. I don't know that. I don't know, but it's almost like, you could say you have an idea that it's going to happen. You can keep an eye out a little bit. And I think it would be easier to shake off the dust from whatever this is if you have an idea that it's coming. Okay, well, let's get a clarifier and we'll see if I can see anything better than that. But yeah, it's like just something that you're not going to see until it gets there. Let's see. What about this Eight of Pentacles? the High Priestess. I haven't seen her for a long time. Oh, interesting. That's cool. I'm just noticing how long I haven't seen her. But this is something where, all right, so you're working hard and meticulous, and then the High Priestess comes in, and she's the one who is holding a lot of like unconscious knowledge, like things that you know that you don't know, maybe where your subconscious is, your intuition is. And I feel like you might have an idea where this is going to happen, the Tower, but maybe it's something that you're already thinking about at the beginning. Maybe. But yeah, she's just like, she knows things. So it's like almost like you're hearing things. Like there's little inklings are coming through and like giving you just like little yeah, and there's something you hear, and just like it's in your subconscious, you're like, what's that? And it might make you think of just be thinking of things to think about later. All right, what about this? Nine of Pentacles. Oh, the Empress. Wow, all right. Well, we know she's all about nurturing something to growth and to be able to show a lot of, like if you think of her, I always think of her as like there's beauty and nature, and she does want to help make things grow, like the energy of that around. So I think it has to do with your energy of this Nine of Pentacles. You want to keep it growing. You want to keep it, providing and coming in. So this Five of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords. Oh, that kind of makes sense. So it looks like that maybe with this goal you had of not ever having to have the Five of Pentacles feeling, or as you feel like, you're in a lack for something, or, whether it be money or energy or time, just not feeling like you can basically go into the church and get warm kind of thing. So I think you felt stuck at that situation. Maybe that did happen to you before. Maybe there was something about it, maybe your credit was bad, or maybe things weren't going the way you thought they should. Maybe a job that was lacking in, a good salary or whatever. And I feel like you felt so stuck in that situation because you couldn't get out of it that you're still holding on to that. So maybe that's really where your worry comes at, because you felt so stuck in that situation and you just don't want to do it again. So what about Ace of Swords? Seven of Cups. All right, so I guess with this inspiration that you had, there's a lot of different options out there. You could have a lot to choose from, and you just want to make sure you're not choosing, or not getting overwhelmed with the amount of options that you have. So you want to make sure you could focus in on what would be the right one. And maybe that's why the changes right now not a good idea, because you still have too many options and you have to narrow them down before you decide to change everything that's given you everything that you needed. Just because all of a sudden you had an inspiration. So it's like, okay, that's why you're putting a pause on that, just because wait until you get them all. You figure out what the option is that you want to take. And the Sun. Oh, this is the first time this came up too. Judgment. All right, this is, I guess it feels like with that card, it's about having an awakening, having something in your mind is making you say, well, you know what? What about this? Or what about that? It's almost like a rebirth kind of feeling, like you thought you knew things, and then all of a sudden you know something different. And that actually explains the High Priestess too. So it's almost like you ended up with a judgment or an awakening to something. And I feel like that was maybe your cause. That was how your happy came to be, that you were able to be awakened to something in your life that was all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I have that. So it seems like a good thing. Wheel of Fortune. The moon. Oh. Now that to me makes sense because you don't really know what goes on. If you look at like the moon, there's hidden things and there's things that you're not sure of, and nothing is as clear and obvious as it would be in the sun. So I feel like when you're on this wheel, there's going to be some periods of you don't know, and you might be, just might be feeling things like, well, was that going to happen or is that going to happen? I feel like you don't know and you're weary about that. Maybe you're weary about it because you don't know if you've been the best that you could have been. And not, I don't know if you're thinking about that, but just like, well, wait, did I do that? Did I do that? I might have did that. You know what I mean? Like thinking that way, oh wow, was I just that kind of a shit? And those, and everybody is. Everybody is something that you're like looking back at yourself going, oh my God, did I really do that? And so I think that's where you might be at with that one, just because you don't know. I mean, who knows? We've all done some things that we could like wish that we didn't. But the fact that you even remember it, that would be interesting. Two of Pentacles. All right, the Queen of Cups. Now Queen of Cups, she's supportive and she's emotional and she's endearing and, she wants to help out whenever she can. So I feel like if this is somebody in your environment, they're trying to help out and do what they can to help you juggle what you're trying to juggle. Oops. All right, so what about this? Oh yeah, that could be a friend, family member. And just somebody that says, oh, you could use a hand kind of thing. And they handle it with, maybe they watch the kids or they cook dinner every now and then, that kind of thing. Just to help out. What's this Ten of Wands? Oh, the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands is about, if you ever see the traditional deck, we have the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands. The Two of Wands is like, all right, if he's in that castle, and he hasn't really left his castle yet, he hasn't left his own little cave. So he's happy and he's okay, but he hasn't actually moved past that yet. With the Three of Wands, that's depicting that he has. And he sees that there's something else out there. I could be involved in something else. So I feel like you might have been feeling like, all right, there's a little burden and there's little responsibilities that go with this life. But what else is there can I branch out into? And maybe not like you're getting up this life, but just maybe you're looking to see if there's anything else. Maybe the responsibilities are getting a little bit too much. And you're just looking to see if there's something that you can actually look into that's not that much. Maybe? What about this Tower? Nope. What about the Tower? Tell me about the Tower. Okay. The Four of Pentacles. Well, that tells me with this Tower feeling, it's almost like you want to hold on to not just money, but like energy and effort. And I'm wondering if that's not what's changing here, because, all right, you had all this burden and this responsibility, and even though it was what made you feel supported, you might have been looking for something else to be able to do less, to be a little less responsible for things. And maybe here with this Tower, I mean, it could have been, it doesn't have to be always the crumbling of something. It could actually be an insight or an awakening. And you had that here too. So it's almost like the Tower was saying to you, maybe you need to take a little less on. You don't have to take so much on. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a shot to your conscience if that happens, because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, really? That I could actually do this and hold on to what I have, like as an energy and time, and, you know, maybe not be so involved and so responsible for everything. And maybe if I just hold on to this stuff, that, you know, it'll be easier on me without disrupting so much. So that's a possibility. You might have figured out there's a way to do that if you looked for something other than what it was you were doing. Even though I don't think you want to disrupt this. You don't want to disrupt what you have, but I'm wondering if you think about it, you could maybe kind of divvy it out to some people. Like, instead of you taking on all the burdens and responsibilities of it, you could actually delegate it to other people in your environment, your friends, your family, that you can actually say, okay, well, here, you do this. I mean, that might just be a matter of giving the kids more chores, or, you know, having your spouse be able to handle other parts of the household responsibilities. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just divvying it out. And I think it just, like, it comes to you all of a sudden, you're like, what? So, all right, let's see. These are the oracle cards, and they're called prism oracles because they're really cool with colors and stuff. But it's like like your aura, like your energy of July, like what you feel. The energy that you're going to be putting out. Oh, trust. I like the sound of that. And from what I gather, it's probably like, you know, trusting in yourself and trusting your abilities to make the best decisions for you and for others. Let's just see. Sometimes I can find them really fast, sometimes I can't. I know that's purple. For some reason, it won't show up in purple. And I don't want to leave you guys hanging for too long. I did this one time with Gemini, and I'm like, it wasn't purple, it was like blue. Okay, here we go. Let's see, blue. Anyway, when this card comes up in a reading, it's a sign to start trusting yourself. So start trusting yourself. We often seek advice from outside sources and people we trust. The reality, though, is that most of the time, deep inside, you know that what you need to do. Have the confidence to trust in yourself and your own sense of self-governance. Ultimately, you can make your own decisions. I get that. See, we're just talking about delegating things. So, yeah, you might need to take a break from all this responsibility and things that you're doing, even though it made you happy, it made you feel, you know, good about what you're doing. It might have been wearing on you to the point where you had to make that decision to say, okay, I'm going to share this because this is just a little bit much. All right, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you can give me a thumbs up or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And I will be seeing you in August, possibly July, maybe. All right, enjoy. Talk to you later.